guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Welcome to another episode. Today's the day. It's the final chapter of the Snowmobile. I know, I've been putting it off for so many months. The last episode we had, I actually got it running and everything. But it's been sitting for quite a while, and it takes so many pulls to get it started. The only thing that I remember of it easily getting started was that I had to take both spark plugs out of the V-twin engine. It's a Rotax engine made from Bombardier. I had to put a little bit of two-stroke oil into the spark plug holes, dry the spark plugs, put them back in, and it fired up after a bunch of pulls, you know. I tell you, the pulling, I had to recover for a week just because I felt like my arms were pulled out of the sockets, you know. It was just a lot of work just to pull start it, you know. It didn't come with electric start. Today I'm going to try to see how the mechanism works, and maybe I could put a drill to the crankshaft and probably, you know, try to start it that way. The reason why it doesn't start right is because I rigged the fuel delivery system with a lawnmower gas tank connected to one of the carburetors and another lawnmower gas tank connected to the other carburetor. So I have two gas tanks leading to, you know, each individual respective carburetor. And I bypassed the primer. You know how it has a primer? Well, you're supposed to prime it a couple times to shoot gas or push gas into the carburetor so that it's easily started. But because I bypassed it, I don't have a primer. It just goes gravity fed straight into the carburetor, which I figured would work, right? Because you're not using a fuel pump at all, so why do you even need the primer, right? So I'm going to try to figure that out today, but as you can see, it's been sitting in the corner of my garage for months, and doing all the projects that I've had and getting stuff from manufacturers and stuff to do reviews. I've got boxes all over the place. I keep the boxes because I know I'm going to need them someday, because I also sell stuff on eBay. And sometimes you're looking for a box and you don't have it, and you go, oh, I just threw that away, you know? So I keep all the boxes. It's a terrible habit. I'm like a hoarder, you know? But the garage always ends up, after a couple of projects, ends up piling up into a mess again, you know? I'm going to try to organize it a little bit and actually move the snow machine to the middle so I have more room all around to work on it. Right now, I mean, it's cramped in the side over there. I just got to do something about it. So I'm going to slowly get it done. There we go. Much cleaner? No. That's a little bit more organized. Got it in the center now. It's got leaves and crap inside here. I think I'm going to blow it out. Watch it blow right into the carburetors. All right, I blew out everything in here. This is what it looks like right now. As you guys know, recently I did fix the hood. And so this is what it looks like right now. I've got, can't tell if there's anything in there. Got some in there. So this is a LT1000 lawn tractor gas tank. This is like a Briggs & Stratton type thing that mounted on one of those like 10 horsepower engines. And it's got a line coming out of here going into the left carburetor, a line coming out of here going into the right carburetor. It's blown out pretty well. Recently I fixed the hood. I Frankensteined it, right? It was complete. It had a hole over here. Hinge was not on the frame, and I built some brackets, and now it's working and at least intact. I did weld the left ski steering, so now, you know, they don't crisscross like that. You know, now at least it parallel and it turns, so that's fixed. And all I needed to do now is just start easily, and that's what it doesn't do, is start easily. As you saw recently, I picked this up from somebody's trash. It's like a sectional sofa backrest, and I just pulled it off, and I figured this would make a good rear. Somebody told me about this thing here. I wondered what this was. It's like feels like a tube, but he says it's for the cooling system. I don't know. Why would you need a cooling system in the back? There's no engine back here. Everything else seems intact. When I did have this running, tracks were moving. When I almost flew off this little dolly there, because it did work. You know, it just needs to start easily. That's it. Otherwise, this will run. Okay, so other than the fact that both these gas tanks have evaporated all its gas for the months that's been sitting here, there's no gas in here. I got to mix up some fuel and put it in these gas tanks. I might try to do just one gas tank with like a T that splits into two that goes in there, instead of having, this is ridiculous, just two gas tanks sitting here. It's ridiculous, right? And then the next thing I want to do is I want to check out the reason why it doesn't start easily. Well, it's designed to have a primer system, right? That shoots a little bit of fuel in there, because it was supposed to be under, a fuel pump system. Well, because I bypassed it, right? I have it gravity fed directly into the carburetors, which for my purposes, I'm not a serious, snowmobile or whatever. I just want to get it running for a brief little session of riding around. It's not going for hours, in the mountains and stuff like that. So and not to mention my gas tank has two big holes in it too. So this is probably the only way I'm going to get it done. But anyway, so here is the primer, right? And there you can see the other end of it. One end of it is just loose. That's why it wasn't working, because it wasn't connected to anything. The other one is right here, and it's caught and snagged in there. And I can't pull it. It's like stuck, almost like pinched, I know it's hard for you guys to see, but it's a brown one. Where is it? That brown one right there. That brown one right there. It leads into, it's right here. Goes into a T and splits right into there, which goes into each of the carburetors. So it needs fuel to go into there, both carburetors. So I need to disconnect it and pull it out of that snag, because it's pinched in there. It won't move. That might be the reason why it wasn't working. Unless that's connected to a T. So I got the hose free! And this is now directly, I can see that this part here is directly connected to the T that goes into both carburetors, the priming area, right? However, and then I mix some 2-stroke oil here, fuel gas mix, and this primer system doesn't seem to be working because you're supposed to pull it out and then push in. And when you push in, you're supposed to feel resistance of it sucking fuel and then you pushing it through this one, the valve. So you suck up fuel from this one, and then when you push, you're supposed to push fuel through this one into the carburetors, which prime the carburetors and allow you to start it. The reason why it was taking 50 pulls to get it started once was because the primer system wasn't even connected, you know what I mean? And that's what I knew what was happening, but I just never really wanted to do it, you know, because I'm still intimidated by this whole project, you know? So it looks like this thing is broken. See, if you pull it, I'm pulling it and it has resistance. As you can see, it pulls in by itself, right? You're supposed to be able to push it. And it doesn't work at all. So I think I might have to go and buy some new fuel lines. Maybe I did. Because I do feel air coming out when I push of this one. So if I'm pulling air from this one, actually I don't feel anything. Okay, this curved one is sucking. So if I put this one on here, will it shoot fuel out? Oh, look. Ooh! I pulled it in, and now I'm shooting it.
That's what she said!
Okay. Huh. Looks like it might be working all of a sudden. I guess if you, you know, lubricate it, whatever. Look at that. It's going in. I'm priming it right now. I can see it. Let me show you. Okay, look carefully at this line here as I pump. See little bubbles? There we go. I'm actually pumping fuel in there. Now I think I flooded it. All right, so look, I just primed it, right? So technically it should restart. All right, get ready. Here comes a workout. Primed it. Now I have a bad shoulder here now. I don't know why. Clicks and stuff. I don't know. Pull this out. This is the stop, right? Oh my God, that's awesome. Oh my God, I never expected that. I did not expect that at all. It was so much easier to pull start now from the from having the primer system work. Oh my God, that's so awesome. So I might go and buy a new primer system. I'm going to see how much it costs and some new fuel lines. And I don't have these fuel lines because I have only lawn tractor fuel lines. I mean, it seems to work, but I do have to figure out the gas tank system, right? You can't have it like that. I'd have to figure out a way to mount a gas tank in here that is higher than the carburetors. And the it looks like the LT1000 Craftsman gas tank is horizontal and flat enough to fit right in this area, and at the same time it being higher than the carburetors, because you need it higher than the carburetors so that the fuel will drip right into the carburetors. And then how do I get the fuel to also be in how am I going to prime it? Do I have to have another tank for priming fuel? I would need some kind of a T where from the gas tank itself, the fuel line comes out, goes into a T, into a smaller thing for the hose. That's what it is. I need to get it from the LT1000 tank, the fuel line coming out, the thick regular rubber fuel line, goes into some kind of a splitting T, one going into a small nozzle and one going into a fuel line nozzle. I have to find one of those on eBay. If I get that going, you can prime it by priming it with the fuel in the tank. At the same time, when it starts, it gets the fuel directly from the tank into the carburetors. And that would work. Yeah. So stay tuned. I'm going to go do some research and see if I can find some kind of T that would fit the system. I know that you have a small diameter one to fit the priming line, which is really thin, like that, you know what I mean? So that nozzle would have to be small enough to fit in there. And then at the same time, the other side of it would be a more thicker one that would accommodate a fuel line size, like that. So yeah, that would work. So how about that? It was the primer. I mean, I knew it was the primer system because I had bypassed it, and I said, why is it so hard to pull start this thing? It took like 50 pulls to get it started. Look what we did today. And also this thing here, the kill. Maybe I had it down the whole time, huh? You have to have it up to get spark, and then, like in an emergency, you have to shut off the engine, you push it down, and that would kill it. So it's pulling it up to have the spark. And no, I had it started before, so I'm pretty sure I knew that already. So, I mean, that's great. As you guys saw, it runs pretty well, and it idles really well. And when I tried the throttle, it wanted to move, Once you got to that speed, the clutch engages and turns the tracks, and it wants to go. Man, now I'm really excited. I'll be back with you in a bit after I do some research on that primer system, but looks like it works. Should we try it again? Let's try it again. So look, we used up all the primer from burning it up, right? So I'm gonna stick this primer back in. See if it shoots any more in there. And now I'm getting low on fuel. There we go. Yeah. They said like 3. 3 is good enough, and I tend to agree. 3 pumps is good enough. That's what she said! This is up. Pull. I'm surprised it lasts that long because I have no gas. It's not running on any gas.
guy screw this up, I'm gonna see
you guys next time on Mowers.
Blows.